welcome to a new week here. We're going to get you started with today at the race. A slew of prices on Sunday, Keith. Let's see what today brings. I think it was 6 out of 8 that were double-digit price winners on Sundays.
You are, in fact, correct. Yeah, I mean, and the big fives were just huge, bountiful. The early, 47,000 for the early pick five. Late pick five, 21,000. You know, we were around them. We had a lot of those prices within our picks and everything. So hopefully you were playing along, boxing some selections, mix and matching, because they were there for the taking. I know our value shot hit, right? Pit stop man, right to the front. Barbosa, listen, right to the front and go ahead and dictate it. So that was good. But, yeah, see if the trend continues today. I thought, you know, the cards today I like today's card. I thought tomorrow and Sunday were really kind of tricky. So we'll see how things develop for us. But we're going to do our best to put you on some winners here and hopefully make a little profit for the weekend.
I agree. This weekend's card, much akin to last weekend's card, as we said, a lot of winners on a Sunday. But let's take a look at what the track looks like for Friday's card here today. As we just are noticing, track is sealed right now. It's fast, though. I checked the radar, Keith. I don't see any more rain coming at us. We just had a little bit of a sprinkle.
Okay, we'll take it. You know, I mean, we haven't seen much rain, so we do need some rain. Hopefully it can hold out after the racing card, and we'll take it from there. But pretty pleasant out, comfortable out there, 75. Yeah, it works for me. But, yeah, we're going to get cranking on the first or what?
We will, which does kick off the early pick five, and it does kick off in this maiden special weight, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Keith, you and I both have the number 3, my price play, Dear Santa, Arno Delacour, Victor Carrasco on top. Morning line 6-1, keeps at 6-1 right now.
Yeah, scratch the 4, Classic Legend. Can we get Christmas in June? That's going to be the key for us here for this Delacour runner. And the key was this. The last 3 years, a little stat for him. Delacour's been 5 for 12 and 8 for 12 in the money. Turf to dirt, second career start. Solid ROI. It's like $9 or something. Really, really big. I'm sorry, the jockey trainer combo, like $9, but a good ROI. So that works for me. Looked at the family. Half to a 4-time winner on the dirt. 4 left. It was pretty quick. Ran an 88 buyer at top. And a couple of siblings, they won early. So I like to see that. Yeah, you know, I certainly Sheriff Ronnie deserve it, I guess. Going to take a lot of play towards the favoritism. The last 2 numbers in Maryland, really, really big. But I'm going to kind of go around the 3 and the 6, working off that first gelding first Lasix angle as well on both of these runners. The motion runner, Sustenance, showed good speed in debut at 2. Tried the turf, no good, but back and retooled and ready to go here, I think could play a factor as well. But the 2 looks like he'll take a lot of play in here, Sheriff Ronnie.
And there we have it. Keith Usta goes 3-6-2-1 there, and the start of the early pick 5 and the start of the early pick 4. Of course, Keith, you have a ticket structure lined up for us. Let's go ahead and take a look. We have a nice little single there somewhere in the mix.
How about that? 5 by 5 by 1 by 2, right? So second race 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Spread-a-rama, a little price shot on Mystic Seaport. Third race, the same. I mean, these are the 2-year-olds. Not much separated a bunch of them when they ran against each other. So we're going to spread in there. Singling, race 6, Cazadero for David Jacobson. Have a little stat on that trainer. And a little bit race 5 with the 1 for Shug McGehee on the turf. That maiden special way going along. The horse to beat, the 12, Too Far East is West. Has really run 2 bang-up races in its career. So there you go, $25 for the early pick 4.
Which does start in this claiming 40, going short on the turf for the girls, 3 years old and up. Keith, let's go ahead and talk about your top selection on the rail. Mystic Seaport, Linda Albert, Thais Lai Pustina tries turf for the first time.
Yeah, no good last time. Just tough, going longer against better. Comes back for the tag. Looking for some value here. You know, I don't trust there's going to be some speed. I think you look outside, Lily Simone, Ali Oxenfree, Catita Suave. Pace is going to be honest. Melapanini B may benefit, sure, proven. But Mystic Seaport, looking at the breeding, a half to Hip Hop, who's run some really good races over this turf course, topping it in 83, I believe, in a 2 other than. So midshipman, top side, okay. They pretty much run on everything, 12%. I'm sorry, 14% with the turf. So looking for some value, shortening up. Turf to dirt angle has been good and profitable for Linda Albert.
And then let's go ahead and take a look at Mela Panini B in that last effort out in your exacta heat for Susan Cooney and Toledo.
Yeah, we're going to go back to the race on June the 9th. So what? 7 days ago, coming back awfully quick. This is against the boys and a state-bred, state-sired first-level allowance. And didn't quite expect this kind of effort. Up a little bit closer, 3-4 wide, top of the stretch with a challenge. Just couldn't quite kick on with those runners. But this fades a little bit, only beaten 3 and change. I mean, so you look at the finish position, not great. You look at how many lengths she got beat against that field.
Look at that.
Man, she runs a little bit better, I think, from maybe a little bit further off the pace, keyed up, some speed to the outside. She'll sit back and try to make a run. She should be able to draft in towards the rail and save some ground before she offers that late kick.
Absolutely. You also have the number 6 underneath in Ali Oxenfree, as you mentioned, Deal DeVico, trying first time on the turf and first time against winners as well.
Yeah, Damon looks like he's got some live runners today. This one's really, really quick. Showed it in debut going back in November. Followed it up, next out with the win. Breeding, Uncle Linus, okay, 12% sprinting on the turf, first time on the turf, I should say. Second dam was a 3-time winner with a top of 84. She may be the speed of the speed. I remember her running last year. She ran away early in that maiden breaking score and hid. Gatita Suave, the 7, I like a little bit, and just a slight little fade against a pretty good group. We saw Gift of Gab come back to win with a good number. I think she's going to go ahead and prompt the pace here for designated hitters and Rudy Sanchez Salomon, right? So they're live in the double, right? They've got Sheriff Ronnie in the opener. Talking about Sheriff Ronnie real quick, didn't run bad with all that trouble against Arabian Line, who went back to New York after the win to get the grade 1 there. So yeah, owner-trainer combo could be tough in this early double.
And there we have it. Keith Usel goes 1-4-6-7 there in race number 2. Race number 3, second leg of the early pick 4 is a maiden special weight, 4.5 for the straight 2-year-olds on the dirt here. You have the number 2 on top, Malibu Slew for John Salzman Jr. Gets the blinkers on and gets Angel Cruz back on as well.
Yeah, we can have some picks all over the map today when looking at these races, Cal. So yeah, so I just I'm looking for a little bit of prices. This one took, when going and kind of look at the breeding and the production of the mare and everything, I was like, man, this horse took a lot of play in debut. Got in some trouble, a little hop at the break. Then was a little green into the turn, tried to get out a little bit, drifted, got straightened away, then swung 5 wide, a little move again before flatting. Bringing some focus here with the blinkers on, that could be the key. Second hand angle for this barn is very good as well. So let's go ahead and throw a video up because Malibu Slew was in there, Captain Woodrow, Why So Quiet in that race on May 26th at Pimlico. We're going to concentrate there on Captain Woodrow, who ran the best maybe overall race with the fig and everything like that. Off a little awkwardly. You see Malibu Slew on the far outside was off at an even Why So Quiet. The horse next to Awesome Slew got a little stumbled out of the break. Like this interesting trip for Captain Woodrow, Cal. 4 and 5 wide into the turn and then dives back down mid-turn here and is going to shift out again and make a bid. And I tell you, very game to the wire. You got to give it to the winner there, Street Tough. Was just resolute when this one gets hooked top of the stretch. But good effort, Captain Woodrow. Battles all the way through the stretch. You'll see the horse on the rail kind of steady ever so slightly coming past mid-stretch. That horse came back to win with a 69 on the synthetic up at Presque Isle.
Yeah, a nice enough field to be coming back from that. And as you mentioned, that interesting trip that he had for Captain Woodrow kind of sets him better up a little bit today. You also have the number 1, the rail horse, Speediness, Jamie Ness, Carlos Lopez. Decent works coming in, but the rail, I'm taking a chance on the rail, but I can definitely see why you have that one just underneath.
Yeah, you got this one on time. It would not surprise me. Tab the tote. We'll see what kind of money this one takes. Jamie Ness, 1 for 10. 5 for 10 in the money with the 2-year-old firsters in Maryland the last 3 years. By Great Notion, can win early. The mare was good. Hard again. Remember running around here, 197,000 off of 5 wins, 5 for 12. Does have a debut winner, out of that mare. 3 other ones hit the board. So win early, run good early. It's in the family there for Speediness.
And we'll see. We'll see how that. We'll see how that rail, if that rail is a factor at Hall there in race number 3. Race number 4 is an allowance optional, claiming 55, going short on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 6 on top. Let's take a look at. Excuse me for a second. This also starts the Rainbow Pick 6. I'm sorry. We do have a carryover over into that does start in race number 4. Let me just kind of line down the structure of my ticket. today. I wait for my single on the I take a huge chance on that single. That's a first-time starter in that nightcap race of the day. But races 6 and 8, I do go 4 wide again. Keith, tricky card, a tricky enough card for me to try and kind of finagle through this Rainbow Pick 6 ticket. But let's get back to that race that does start everything. Race number 4, that allowance optional claiming, as I said, mentioned on the dirt. Let's go ahead and take a look at Cazadero back in Saratoga of last year, late August.
Yeah, off a little bit of a break here, January 22 to August, and ran pretty big. You're going to see the start here. Kind of walks out of the gate. I don't want to see that today because there's some speed in here. I don't want it to get too far away. But, you know, all in all, pretty good effort. It's going to kind of ramp up 3 wide at turn, angling out and coming on late. Only beating a length and some change. Good field, Comedy Town, Noble Emotion, then came back to beat Bound for Nowhere in a grade 2. Tried it and made on, and then was sold, I guess. That's a little sale at Keeneland in April. Got for $60,000. First time for the barn. So maybe you think got away a little bit cheap for $60,000 when you look at this horse's form. But David Jacobson, that's the key right here. Last 3 months in Maryland County, 6 for 12, 50%, 9 for 12 in the money, ROI of 420. Had a winner on the turf with Midday Image over this turf course. I think there's some speed to target. Obviously, Zero Med, first off the claim for Kieran, might be the speed of the speed, very quick. Wired Group, a couple races back over this turf course. I think he'll get some really pressure. The Grateful Bred, I don't think is going to let him get too far away. A horse proven over this turf course. Another barn, Madison Myers, going very well of late. But Cazadero to sit the trip from off the pace to rally into it. You got to take into account Arzak as well for Trombetta, doing great with his turf run, his turf sprinters, and keying up against the similar horses as my top selection. He might hold just maybe a touch of a class edge over these, but take nothing away from Grateful Bred. He's been money almost every time.
Take nothing away from a lot of the horses in this field. A nice salty allowance optional here in the 4 to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. And we will be right back after this commercial to talk about the rest of Friday's tricky card.
And they're off.
We go from that nice allowance optional to a nice maiden special weight here, 1 1/8 on the turf. Keith, you land on the number 1, the rail horse now and later. Should McGahee Fergal Lynch takes the call, coming off of that effort from quite a break over from that Tampa to Churchill effort, 2 and 1 back.
Yeah, my move here is a move that I always like. Outside post to inside post, going around the ground. You need to save and preserve everything that you possibly can in these kind of races. And this horse looks like he's trending in the right direction. I think he's going to escape a little bit of a price. Good little middle move, just a little flat and out late against a horse that came back to run an 80 buyer. You go back on the page and want to check the competition at Tampa. Third place finisher off of his next race, a 76. So stacking up against the right kind, I think this horse is going to be able to save ground every step of the way and try to rally into it. The horse to beat, the 12. Too far east is west. Video for that one?
Yes, back on the Preakness Day over there on the undercard. As you can see, the 5 horse on the inside.
Yeah, and was able in this big field to work out a pretty good trip. You know, had to wait a little bit coming into the stretch. Found some room and just kicked on quite well. The winner got a great trip, inside out trip with Ortiz that day. But man, angled out, split, drop back in, and a really, really good finish. This guy looks like he can just keep on kicking all day long.
I agree. I think this distance is going to hit him perfectly. But and the one question about the distance is the 13 Hard Traveler, who you have underneath for Tim Keith Forrest. Boyce tried the mile over at Pimlico last out after the Pimlico Preakness meet. Excuse me.
Ran into a Clement runner there in Royal Velvet who ran lights out, but a good effort. You know, broke a little slow. Was able to kind of work out a trip, just wasn't as good as that other horse. But this horse has a little bit of a finish. You're talking about 1 1/8. You look on his lineup. Is he going to flat? You got the right kind of rider to kind of drop in and save and give the best effort from the top of the stretch home in Forest Boys.
Absolutely. Keith Busta goes 112-13-3 there in race number 5. Race number 6 is claiming 10,000, going 5.5 on the dirt, and it starts off the jackpot race. Of course, small carryover for today, but we're going to get hopefully that cranking by the time we get to race number 6, 1,644, and it is in a bit of head scratcher of a race, claiming 10,000, never win 2, going short, 5.5 short. 3-year-olds and up. Keith, you and I both have Nadagar on top 4. Damon DeLavico on the outside with Horacio Caramanos.
Jackpot, super high 5. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Nadagar was a scratch. Vet scratch. It looks 518. Don't know all one for that. That was a Pimlico for 16 grand. So we're freshen up even a little bit more. We're going to drop again down to 10. So it's, that lets you a little bit leery with Nadagar. I think the key with him, he has some issues coming out of the gate. Moving to this outer post, maybe last one and hopefully or close to one of the last one's in.
Exactly.
First one's out. He's going to break a little bit better. He's got to turn a foot. He's shown it in middle moves and races and battling on. I think he's caught the right kind of field with some questionable speed in front of him. Calvary Command's on the improve. He's going to make everybody work. He's going to try hard down inside. But Damon might have 2 good shots here. Even Glorious Mahomes. I know he's off a long time, a 475-day break. But when last seen, overgained some trouble, broke a little slow, rushed up wide, battled, and got the job done. So one of these 2 to target the speeds and go by.
Sure. So definitely. And then just for fun, as you mentioned, Calvary Command for Tim Salzman, Angel Cruz, probably going to be setting the pace for that race here today.
Absolutely. 6 here and no further. Run a couple good races here of late for Kieran McGee. Worked out a good trip. He just dove down inside another one, had to work through traffic. He's got the kick to make an impact here if things get heated up front, no doubt.
Keith Fusel, 10-9-2-6 in the jackpot super high 5 race in race number 6. Race 6 all day, every day. The only race here for that jackpot super high 5 here in Maryland. Race number 7 is a maiden claiming 45, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3, 4, and 5 years old. You and I both have the number 3 Golden Charm for Linda Albert. Gets Yomar Ortiz in the saddle now, trying the turf last time out. Goes and switches over to the dirt today.
Yeah, full sibling topped it in 84 on the dirt and broke its made its second start here for Golden Charm. I thought all in all ran pretty good. Was hustled early, angled, and just kind of kept going to the wire. I think she might be just a little bit better on the dirt. We're going to say, projecting. But the Blowfields have been fine sprinting on the turf.
Lindo Albert doing well from the Pimlico meet over here at Laurel Park helps things a little bit as well. You have the number 5 in your exacta. New Rome, Corrales, Angel Cruz gets the call. Decent speed showings in those first 2 efforts at the maiden special weight level.
Yeah, proven speed. I like that in these maiden races. A little freshening. And you look on the page, had to run into L Street Lady in debut. Ran pretty good, Preakness weekend. Came back to win a stakes, I think, just this past weekend in New York. So New Rome setting sail in here, looking at maybe a first-time starter. You look at Northern Glow, the 4-horse for Brittany Russell. Definitely, there's serious talent in that family. At Beachview, right, is I think stakes place, greatest stakes place on turf, greatest stakes winner on the dirt, going longer. And there's another one in the family that works as well. And then you go to Too Many Kisses, have to still having fun, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, some well-bred ones there in, that maiden claiming 45 in the 7th. As Keith Fusel goes 3, 5, 6, 4. Race number 8 is an allowance optional claiming 55, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the girls 3 years old and up. Keith, you have the number 4 on top. Juror number 4 now in the barn of Butch Reed gets Victor Carrasco in the saddle, coming off of a layoff where Butch Reed is pretty decent at that.
Yeah, and I think she's going to kind of like the setup. It looks like she's working forwardly. She's proven over this racetrack with some wins, right? 3 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. That works for me. Intrepid Daydream looks like she got a slew of talent. Self-isolation just kind of ran away and hid. We'll show you that race if we can right now. But I think juror number 4 is going to have the right kind of flow. Talk about the stat with Jacobson. Everything he's bringing in here is running big in the state of Maryland over the last few months or so. This one, last time out, off a break, shortening up, flash speed inside the leader. Took back, angled out, went around, rebid 3 wide. The only negative I could take here is she's a little late to switch leads, but she runs away with a big, gaudy number, 85 there, the buyer number in that race at Monmouth. So now going off second off a little bit of a break. That's a good move for this barn. So she's going to be part of that flow at 6 furlongs. I think Beneath the Stars, fresh and off the claim, could be that main speed threat. And they're going to have to make a move into her. And if she kind of, says, okay, we're going to hold you off a little while.
Yep.
I think that's why it sets it up nicely for juror number 4. But she better be tied on here.
Everybody better be tied on there. That's a nice race in race number 8 in that allowance optional effort for the girls. 4, 6, 5, 1 are the horses we all key around, but that's the particular order. Keith Fustel goes in our nightcap of the day, a maiden claiming 30,000, going 5.5 on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Keith, you land on the number 1 on the rail in Storming Chrome for Hugh McMahon gets Axel Concepcion. Tries the turf for a second time here today.
Yeah, I mean, you got the scratch of the 2, scratch of the 8. Storming Chrome, when I kind of went back and had to redo things here, I think it's just going to be ascend. You know, coming west to east here. Has a couple races over the turf, numbers that work. Absolutely, major excuse last time out. You see it. Our chart caller's out there. He's very good. Bothered at the quarter pole. I don't think there's a slew of speed. Maybe this first year on the outside will show it. You're single, but I think it's all systems go for Storming Chrome from the inside for a good jockey trainer combo. I think another user is Disputed Claim here for Kieran McGee. Looking at that mare, Weeper. 2 for 5 on the turf. Numbers work. Another one's been in some fast paces, just a little flattening. I think the turf might move that one up a little bit.
And the half siblings haven't really been tried on the turf. This is the first time start on the turf. So I think I like that angle with Disputed Claim. Let's just go ahead and take a talk about Blaine Beebe for a sec, because you touched on the outside horse, Nick's little boy, first time starter for Phil Capuano. But Blaine Beebe kind of running into a slew of trouble over the course of this one's career, looking for a win on the 10th start. Yeah,
it shows a 65 buyer on the turf. If he can get back to that, you know, I'll dismiss him for the try going long. So I think he'll improve off the sprint try. Turning back, I think he'll make a run into him. And talk about the 12 real quick from a breeding standpoint. Bottom side, you know, you're looking at the siblings. Half the boss man, JJ, top of the 77, just missed here in a state bred allowance not too long ago. Half sis did finish first on the turf, was DQ'd for causing some interference. So we know this barn has done well with some of the turfers and has done well with the first-time starters. Capuano, Mopo Racing, you see those two names together, you better pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Keith Fustel ends our day in the nightcap with 1, 6, 12, 10. And let's head on over to Lightning Round to discuss a little bit more of those picks in a bit more detail, like your value play in race number 2, the 1, Mystic Seaport, for Linda Albert.
A little bit of a breeding reach here. Bottom side, you have to Hip Hop, who ran very big over this turf course sprinting. I believe that was for Salzman. So I think there's enough speed in here, turning back in distance, showing the ability to make a move from just off of it. Let's hope she's got position and is ready to make a move top of the stretch.
And, of course, your best bet, Casadero for David Jacobson, who, as you mentioned, dominating Maryland whenever he comes down here.
Yeah, like the last 3 months, 50%. Horses running big, has a winner with midday image. A little bit of a break. New barn here. I think this one's going to be able to sit that trip mid-pack. Just needs to break right. We showed that video where he kind of walked out of the gates. Got to come out of weight a little bit cleaner. If he does, I think he'll get position by top of the stretch and roll home.
And another video we want to show you is a horse that was dominating in Maryland earlier. Harper's first ride, now officially retired and will be going through the Beyond the Wire readoption program. Of course, as you mentioned, won the Grade 3 Pimlico Special that we're watching back in 2020 and just shy of a $700,000 earner.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. I think a claim, right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
From out of Kentucky and came north here for Claudio and just ran race after race after race, you know, worked his way up and just maintained form and could handle the route of ground. He was a horse that was pretty tactical, pretty handy for the riders, and yeah, good to see that he's going to find himself a good home.
His final race was July 31st, 2021, where he won the Disputed Testimony for a second time. He's also won the Dickie Small Stakes, a Native Dancer, and second in the Maryland Million Classic. And towards the end of his run, he had a second victory in that Disputed Testimony. Gelding was sidelined with an injury and eventually was sent home up to the farm in Saratoga Springs. Troy, assistant to Gonzalez, said that for more than a year, attempts were made to bring Harper's first ride back to the races, but it wasn't in the cards, so he did have a suspensory that bothered him a little bit and decided that they didn't want to push him. So with earnings of $699,664 at the time of his retirement, Harper's first ride is the richest racehorse to have gone through Beyond the Wire, Maryland's Thoroughbred Aftercare program.
It's a good ride right here. You're just
it is.
playing along and watching. This was called the nurse release, as I like to call it. Just beautiful job by the jock, just being able to kind of rate along, get away that slower pace. Owendale 3-5, and then the running started just about the quarter pole. And he says, he just had plenty left in the tank, was able to turn away the challenge and said, see you later. So great ride there, and good to see Harper's first ride going out. He's gonna have himself a good spot to retire.
Absolutely.
And like I say, he gave his all. He doesn't need to give anything else. Time to relax.
Yeah, time to refresh and relax, and maybe we'll see him in a different career somewhere down the line. But for now, we are going to see and talk with Dave Rodman about some more further changes and scratches.
All right, good luck, everybody.